My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 324, A Young Woman's Declaration. So we start off with like a little like narration from Uraraka. She always liked seeing happy people. She would always like watch her parents be exhausted, which was painful to see. And when she saw heroes in action for the first time, her gaze went straight to the crowd because I imagine, people were happy when heroes showed up. And we cut over to the present where Uraraka is still making an impassioned plea to the people to take back Deku and allow him to stay over there. One of the bystanders is like, "You want us to look at him? So what? You tell me that we should be covered in filth too?" And I'm like, damn, they're so mean.
Gee, yeah.
Why are they like this?
These people are the worst.
For real, these are the worst people.
They're just spoiled.
I mean, this is a lot though.
For sure.
But yeah, she just keeps begging them to let him have a moment's rest and take a fucking shower. And she's basically like thinking to herself that like she just wants to like see people smile again, and she continues to scream out. It's like, if you want me to stand up here and reassure you, I'm sorry I can't do that, but we're all gripped by the same fear. And we cut over as she's narrating that we see that there's this hero that comes out and he's all beat up and stuff. As everybody's cheering, she like takes a glance at this guy who's just like holding his arm, and then she sees him in his like vulnerable state, but this guy quickly is just like, "I did it," just to like, I guess ease her worries. And she gets pretty hyped up too as a little baby. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's like Midoriya.
Yeah.
And he got excited watching all night.
Yeah. So, she even remembers Toga for a minute. And she remembers how like Toga probably needed help, and if she had like kind of compassion in her life, she probably would have become like a serial murderer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she basically continues on. She's like, Izuku Midoriya is the guy. He's the chosen one, but he also still has a lot to fucking learn. He's just a regular high school kid. So she says, this place is his. And over the course of this chapter, Midoriya is just breaking down into tears. And he just like kind of falls to his knees. Just like, this is a very strong parallel that is actually drawn from way earlier in the series that we'll talk about later. But he just like falls to his knees, and over him falling to his knees, we hear, this is the story of how I became the greatest hero. The next 2 pages, there's a 2-page spread of Midoriya amongst the crowd of people on his knees, and she yells out, "This is his Hero Academy. Let him stay here." And we get another splash page of just Midoriya's face crying. In that moment, we see the animal lady that he saved earlier this arc, as well as Koda, young Koda, with the same sneakers that Midoriya has on, just running towards him, and over them trying to console Deku. The caption reads, "This story of how we all became the greatest heroes."
Another golden age.
Okay.
Rereading this chapter made me certain. Right? This is my RGC.
Yeah.
Rereading this chapter made me certain.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Real quick, if I could get into it.
Go for it,
I
Brian.
love this chapter because of... It's just good character work, and it's not often that it's been a while since we've gotten good character work from characters out like in 1A. Like aside from like Todoroki or Bakugo or Deku. You know what I mean? Like we've gotten moments for Ida, we've gotten moments for Kirishima, We've gotten moments for so many people, but it always seemed like Uraraka was behind when it came to that. But this just, it's just such a wholesome moment. It's such a heartwarming moment. Seeing her kind of like try to pull Deku in back into society, try to convince society to pull Deku back in, and it's kind of like bringing him back a little bit. It's not just bringing him back to school; it's bringing back his old self, like his more optimistic self, his more boyish fanboy self. Like you could see, like like her fighting for him this much is something that he's not used to letting just happen. He's used to being the person to try to make the change in the world himself, and seeing someone fight for him in a way that he can't help her at all, it has to be really stressful for him, but it also has to be like really comforting to have somebody to advocate for you this hard and against all odds. It's just such a beautiful scene, and to also have like the fruits of your labors show up to help you as well at the end of the chapter, like people that you have personally touched with your work on top of all that. Like this was just such a beautiful chapter when it comes to that. So and also to top it all off, I feel like Deku's story isn't like they're really trying to hammer it home that Deku isn't All Might. He's just not. Deku's power isn't to be the person who's gonna carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's not the guy who's gonna like take on all the problems in the world and come out clean. He's going to get grimy. He's going to get dirty if he does that shit by himself. He's going to go into a dark place. And what this chapter solidified is that Deku is at his best when he brings people together. When he's the centerpiece that holds people together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a really good turning point for My Hero, where Deku's starting to see what he's good at, what he's going to bring to the table as a hero. And I'm really excited to see what he does next with this next chapter, because I know this was a continuation of the last one. So I'm curious where they're going to go with this next, because I assume this is the end of Uraraka's little moment, and I really did enjoy it. Like, this was a really nice moment for Uraraka. I hope we see more of it from here on out, as a little liaison between the public and heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stepping into that leadership role
for sure.
Is it like we talked about last week, man? This is a real good look for a character like her. So even if she doesn't get super lit combat scenes, she'll always have a vital role to play, and she'll get a lot of screen time, and that's mature. It's also a nice little role model for a lot of young girls that are definitely into the anime, if not reading the manga. A lot of people into the series, with a lot of different backgrounds, so it's cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot for Uraraka, like I said before.
You want to go into your overall thoughts, Josh? I have some stuff that might take a while for me because I've.
All right, so I had something I want to say, and then I'll respond to, I guess, your thoughts too, or me and Brian will. But I was really annoyed by, I guess, how do I put it? Like the citizens that the heroes are trying to defend and all of that, and that are arguing back at Midoriya, and I had to reflect and basically come to the point that I was projecting how I felt about things going on, in the real world around me onto this manga in a kind of weird way. So, with all of the cases of police brutality and, overextending of their law, like overreaching and overextending of the law, and all of the stuff I've been learning about, honestly, their ineffectiveness around the country, it just makes me very defensive when I think about how people feel like we need to rely on them to deal with crime, et cetera, right? That's a real world problem. But I read this manga sometimes, and I don't want to say it's like propaganda, because I don't believe that's the case at all. But it was giving me those vibes where like the people just seem so whiny and helpless, and they need these heroes to save them, and that's totally ignoring the point that I believe has been made very solidly, is that these people are spoiled and have been taken care of, and that's I believe, like I mentioned in last week's pod, that's the point Shigaraki was trying to make, and even some of the other characters like Stain, or I guess others I can't remember right now because of the pace of the series. So yeah, I fixated on that point, realized that the series ain't about that, and that has nothing to do with police in real life, and I feel like I can enjoy this for what it really is, which is really, really careful and timely character development. And there's just so much more ahead, and I'm starting to feel good and positive again. Yeah. It's like a roller coaster, but I feel like this is going to be a continuous upward. Yeah, like ain't no more. That's it, just up to the sky like the Kimika. Then it's gonna come all down at the end.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's funny. I liked this chapter all right. Pretty much all the way through. I was like, this is cool. And then that 2-page spread happened. And then I started seeing what he was doing. Like, if you go back, this whole time you see that, like, as Deku is like falling apart and falling to his knees, it's an exact mirror of the events, what happened when All Might approached him and chose him to be like his inheritor for One For All. Like, he also did the same thing. He like fell to his knees. You see his like clutching his chest. He falls down. And it's the same thing. Starts crying. And I think it's like a reversal of everything. Like Deku's being saved again, or being given purpose again.
It almost feels like a rebirth.
Mm-hmm. And now, it's like this is the story of how I became the greatest hero. And Brian's right, because this is the story of how, it like the pillar of society falls, but the rest of us have to be stable enough to like hold up our own society. Like it's about this is about like a changing of the times and relying on your neighbor more than just focusing on one person to solve all your problems. There's another little bit of interesting thing that I didn't really understand or recognize until this very moment. In that page where the girl that he saved, the animal lady, starts running towards him, you also see Principal Nesu just kind of like tearing up, like thinking about like humanity making true progress. And when you really think about it, it's also Koda who's being like a normal looking human being as we see it running towards him as well. So it's people of both, like, I guess, backgrounds flooding towards him and seeing something in him. I guess symbolizing Deku as the one, like the guy who's going to tie it kind of together, who captures the hearts of pretty much everyone, no matter where they come from or what their background is or what their oppressions may be. And he's their hero in one way or another. I thought that was like an interesting touch. I mean, Deku has been like one of the better main characters I've ever seen. And, you don't really see this where I don't think you've seen this since like Naruto after he beat Pain. This is like his post-Pain kind of moment. Even though like Deku hasn't really accomplished something on the same level, this is a moment where like everybody is going to accept him. Like he's going to be recognized as kind of the guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like this is an interesting turning point for the series. I don't know where it goes development-wise for a lot of people. I don't know what this means for One For All. Because now it's not just Deku being relied on as the chosen one, which is really cool. it's taking down that myth, which Naruto was kind of supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea of like there is no chosen one. You know, it's either you work hard and you become the best, or stuff like that. I don't know.
Right, and then realize you were just the chosen one all along.
Yeah,
later on.
But you don't have to be.
Goes.
Is the point? Yeah, there's a lot, and I'm kind of going on a freewheeling type of thing. But these are the things I've noticed. Is just the parallel to like the very first chapter to now. And Uraraka is the one who does it, who's always just kind of been by his side. It's kind of sweet. I don't know. This was a great chapter. If One Piece wasn't just as cool as it was, this probably would have been my RGC. But it's a slim margin, honestly. But you know what? You know whose RGC it was? The audience's RGC.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Well. Looks like we can agree with each other, huh, audience?
It beat Black Clover too this week, Brian. I put Black Clover on the poll. I believe it was My Hero Academia in first place, One Piece second, and Black Clover third. So, congratulations, Brian. It worked out for you. But no, this is very well deserved.
Guys, good job.
I didn't realize
Keep that up.
This is kind of like a page short of a regular Jump chapter, despite having like a ton of content in it. So,
yeah,
good for Horikoshi. Yeah, like this chapter a lot. I don't have much else to say. I hope my ramblings wasn't too incoherent, but I feel like I think I made sense in a way. But
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think we all did. I think we all have pretty interesting points.